Imagine stepping into your shower, grabbing the new safety bar your son installed, only to learn it was rigged to break, meant to harm you. I'm Patricia, and when I had an expert check it first, I uncovered a chilling plot that shattered my family. My son's actions, tied to his girlfriend's affair, revealed a web of betrayal. Join me as I unravel a story of deceit, revenge, and the strength to protect what's mine. This tale of family treachery in the heart of winter will grip you, and you won't believe what unfolds next. I'm 62, a retired librarian living in a small town in Colorado. My home is a cozy wooden cabin with a stone fireplace, a wraparound deck, and a dining room that's hosted countless family gatherings. This is where I've poured love into homemade meals, filling the air with the scent of fresh bread and warmth. My son, James, 36, is a skilled plumber with a warm smile that's grown strained lately. His girlfriend, Sarah, 33, is a driven real estate agent whose charm feels increasingly hollow. Together, we've been a family, bound by shared suppers in this snowy, mountainous corner of the world. James and Sarah live nearby, and we gather often, especially for my Sunday dinners, where laughter used to flow freely. My best friend, Alice, 59, a retired baker with a knack for spotting trouble, is a regular at my table, her wit keeping us grounded. Then there's Robert, 34, a contractor Sarah works with, who's recently joined our dinners at her insistence, his presence too familiar for comfort. I've always been the one holding us together, smoothing tensions, but this winter of 2024, the warmth of our gatherings began to feel like a facade. It started with James's behavior. He'd grown distant, staying late at supposed job sites, taking hushed phone calls in the garage. His tools, once neatly organized, were scattered, and he'd dodge my questions about his life. Sarah was colder, her smiles forced, often texting furiously during meals. Alice was the first to voice concern, whispering over coffee at her bakery that James was hiding something. I brushed it off, not wanting to suspect my own son of anything sinister. But doubts grew when James insisted on installing a new shower bar in my bathroom, claiming it was a safety upgrade for my aging knees. His urgency felt off, and I couldn't shake a nagging unease. I decided to have the bar checked before using it, a precaution born from years of reading mystery novels. I called a trusted contractor, a friend named Carl, who inspected it and delivered a bombshell. The bar was deliberately weakened, designed to break under weight, potentially causing a serious fall. My heart sank. James, with his plumbing expertise, was the only one who'd worked on it. Why would my son, whom I'd raised with love, do this? I needed answers, and the truth was darker than I'd imagined. That night, I couldn't sleep. The faulty bar, James's odd behavior, and Carl's report swirled in my mind. I checked James's phone while he and Sarah were over, my hands trembling with guilt. What I found broke my heart: flirty texts between Sarah and Robert, filled with intimate plans and cryptic references to clearing the way. Sarah was cheating, and there were hints of a plan involving me. I thought of the shower bar, James's insistence, and his nervous glances. Was he, manipulated by Sarah, trying to harm me to hide her affair? The idea was excruciating, but the evidence was clear. I sat in my dark dining room, the house silent except for the crackle of the fireplace. Memories of James as a boy, helping me shelve books, clashed with his recent secrecy, tearing at my soul. How could I confront him, knowing it might destroy our bond? My home, my sanctuary, felt like a trap. My son, the light of my life, was slipping away. Why would he betray me? Was it just to protect Sarah's affair, or was there more, something tied to our home, my savings? I didn't have all the answers, but I knew I couldn't stay silent. A dangerous truth was unfolding, and I had to face it. I began forming a plan, leaning on Alice's sharp instincts and my own resolve as a mother. The faulty shower bar, the texts, and Carl's report were just the start. I needed proof, not just for me, but to save James from Sarah's influence. My dining room, where I'd nurtured my family, had become a battlefield, and I was ready to fight for what was right, no matter the cost. This wasn't just about surviving a rigged bar, it was about saving the family I'd built from the lies threatening to tear it apart. I'd faced tough challenges as a librarian, organizing chaos into order. And I wasn't about to back down now. The truth was out there, waiting to be uncovered, and I was determined to find it, to hold James accountable, and to protect the love we'd shared for so long. Thanks for joining me this far. Let us know where you're watching from today, and if you're new here, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to join our growing community. This story's just getting started, and you won't want to miss what's next. Stick around, because it's about to get intense. The expert's report confirming the shower bar was rigged to break was a chilling wake-up call, a silent threat from my own son, James. Those flirty texts between Sarah and Robert, hinting at clearing the way, weren't just proof of an affair. They suggested a plot to harm me, orchestrated through my son's hands. I couldn't let this betrayal destroy our family or James's future. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Patricia Sullivan, and if you're following my story from Colorado, you know I'm unraveling a deception that began with a faulty shower bar in 2024. Thanks for being here, because this is where I start fighting back, and it's a tough journey. I've always been the trusting type, the one who saw family as a sanctuary. James was my pride, and Sarah, his driven girlfriend, seemed like a perfect match, at least at first. But the rigged bar, James's secrecy, and those texts shattered that trust, forcing me to face an unthinkable reality. I needed someone to confide in, someone who'd cut through my fears with clarity. That's when I turned to Alice, my best friend of 30 years. Alice, 59, is a retired baker with a sharp nose for trouble and a long-standing suspicion of Sarah's charm. She was the ally I needed to navigate this nightmare. I met Alice at her bakery, a cozy space filled with the aroma of fresh scones and cinnamon. Over coffee, I poured out everything: the contractor's report, the weekend shower bar, Sarah's text with Robert, James's odd behavior. My voice shook as I showed her screenshots, each word a betrayal of James's love. Alice listened, her eyes narrowing, and when I finished, she set down her mug. "Patricia, this isn't just cheating," she said. "James is caught in something dangerous, and you need to find out what Sarah's planning." Her words were a jolt, turning my dread into resolve. I wasn't just a mother, I was a fighter, and I had to act. Alice didn't let me wallow. "You're a librarian. Patricia, you find answers. So find these," she said. She was right. If Sarah and James were hiding something, I'd uncover it, no matter how painful. I started small, keeping the contractor's report in a locked box for safety. It was evidence, and I wasn't letting it go. I also checked James's phone again during a family dinner, when he left it on the counter, my heart pounding with guilt. The texts between Sarah and Robert were bolder, mentioning meetings at a bar called the Snowy Owl, a dive on the edge of town. I noted the time and place, feeling like a detective in my own family. The next evening, Alice and I drove to the Snowy Owl, parking across the street in her old sedan. The bar was dimly lit, with neon signs and a jukebox playing country tunes. We slipped inside, taking a booth in the shadows. My nerves frayed. Around 9, Sarah walked in, her real estate polish out of place among the regulars. Robert followed, his contractor's confidence evident as he joined her at the bar. They sat close, their hands brushing, their laughter intimate. My chest tightened. The air sucked out of me. Alice squeezed my hand. "You okay?" she whispered. I nodded, but I wasn't. This was real, and it cut deep. I wanted to confront them, to scream, to demand answers, but Alice kept me grounded. You need proof, Patricia, not a scene. She said she was right. A public outburst would let Sarah spin lies, and I needed something concrete. I pulled out my phone, hands trembling, and snapped a photo. Their faces clear in the bar's glow. It was a small victory, but it was something. A piece of the puzzle. Driving home, I was silent. The image seared into my mind. What's next? Alice asked. I keep going. I said, my voice steadier than I felt. I wasn't just seeking answers, I was fighting for James's soul. Back home, I couldn't look at Sarah without seeing her with Robert, their laughter mocking me. She acted normal, chatting with James during dinners, but every gesture felt like a lie. I started noticing things. I'd overlooked a receipt in her purse for a motel I'd never visited. A faint cologne on her jacket that wasn't James's. Each clue was a wound. But I pressed on. I checked the garage, finding a tool matching the contractor's description of what weakened the shower bar, hidden in James's toolbox. My fear grew, but so did my determination. The rigged bar wasn't a one-off. It was part of a plan, and I needed to know its scope. Alice suggested documenting everything, but I wasn't ready to involve outsiders yet. I hid the tool, photo, and screenshots in my locked box, building a case. I also watched James closely, noting his growing unease. He'd avoid my questions, snap when I mentioned Sarah, as if he sensed I was onto them. The thought of my son betraying me tore at my heart, but I couldn't stop. I had to protect myself and uncover why he'd turned against me, whether it was Sarah's influence or something deeper. The truth was out there, and I was determined to find it, to save the family I'd built from the lies threatening to tear it apart. Thank you for sticking with me. Everyone. What do you think Patricia should do next? Drop a comment below if you're new. Please like and subscribe to join our community. We're diving deeper soon, and it's going to get intense. The photo of Sarah and Robert at the Snowy Owl was a wound that refused to heal. Their intimate laughter a constant echo in my mind. That sabotage shower bar, designed to break under my weight, was no accident. It was James's doing, tied to Sarah's affair. I couldn't let her betrayal destroy my son or the life we'd built. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Patricia Sullivan, and if you're following my story from Colorado, you know I'm battling a deception that began with a rigged shower bar in 2024. Thanks for being here, because this part gets heavier, and I need you with me. I couldn't shield James from the truth any longer. The weight of his actions, likely driven by Sarah, was crushing, and he deserved a chance to explain, even if it broke us both. I invited him to my house for coffee, my hands trembling as I set out his favorite mug, one he'd made in a high school pottery class. When he arrived, his smile was strained, his eyes avoiding mine. How do you tell your son he's betrayed you? But I had to try. James, we need to talk about the shower bar, I said, my voice unsteady. It was designed to break, and I think you installed it, influenced by Sarah's affair. James's face paled, his eyes wide with disbelief. Mom, that's crazy, he said. I'd never hurt you. He shook his head, as if he could banish my words. I showed him the contractor's report, the bar photo of Sarah and Robert, the text screenshots, and told him about the rigged bar that could have caused a serious fall. His expression shifted to anger, but it was aimed at me. You're paranoid. Sarah loves me. You're trying to ruin us. His voice cracked, and he stormed out, leaving me alone in my kitchen, the silence piercing. Had I pushed him away forever? James's denial cut deep, but it ignited my resolve. If he needed proof, I'd find it, for his sake and mine. I began treating my home like a mystery to unravel, searching for answers with a librarian's precision. One evening, while James and Sarah were out, I checked their guest room, where Sarah kept a laptop bag. Inside, I found bank statements that froze my blood transfers from my retirement savings account to an unfamiliar account. Small sums at first, then larger ones, totaling over $35,000. My hands shook as I photographed each page, each transaction a betrayal of our family's trust. I called Alice, my voice trembling as I shared the discovery. "Patricia, this isn't just an affair," she said. "Sarah's stealing from you, probably with Robert, and James is caught in it." Her words sent a chill through me. I searched Sarah's bag again, finding a life insurance policy I'd never authorized, taken out in my name, with a payout of $500,000, Sarah and Robert as beneficiaries. My heart raced as I realized the rigged shower bar wasn't a prank. It was part of a scheme to harm me, perhaps kill me, for profit. Sarah's affair with Robert was just the surface. They wanted my home, my savings, everything I'd worked for. That revelation shattered something in me, but it also forged a fierce strength. I wasn't just a mother facing betrayal. I was a woman fighting for her son's future. I started keeping a detailed journal, cataloging every piece of evidence: the bar photo, the text screenshots, the bank statements, the insurance policy, the contractor's report, the tool used to sabotage the bar. I hid it in a locked box in my pantry, a fortress against their deception. I watched James closely, noting his growing unease. He'd snap when I mentioned Sarah, avoid my questions, as if he sensed I was closing in. His compliance with her fueled my anger, pushing me to act. I contacted the contractor again, requesting a detailed analysis of the shower bar's sabotage. He confirmed the tampering required specific tools and expertise, matching James's skills. The report was a powerful tool, undeniable proof of intent. Alice urged me to confront James again, but I knew he wasn't ready. I needed more. Something so clear it would force him to see Sarah's manipulation without breaking his spirit. I installed a hidden camera in the garage, where James kept his tools, hoping to catch him or Sarah tampering with something else. Their frequent visits provided opportunities, and I was determined to be ready. James's rejection lingered, but I understood his loyalty to Sarah. I'd raised him to love deeply, and he wasn't ready to see her as a villain. I sent him a text, apologizing for our fight and promising I'd only come to him with solid proof. I hoped he'd come around before it was too late. For now, I focused on my next moves. I wasn't just gathering evidence, I was building a case to safeguard James and expose Sarah and Robert for their actions. The son I'd raised had become a pawn in their game, and I was prepared to fight for him with every ounce of strength I had. Thank you for staying with this story. What do you think about James's reaction? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you're new, please like and subscribe to join our community. We've got more to uncover, and it's going to be intense. The bank statements and that life insurance policy were a chilling confirmation of Sarah's betrayal, turning my home into a war zone. Her affair with Robert, the stolen savings, and the sabotage shower bar weren't just personal slights. They were a calculated plot to harm me. With James as their unwitting pawn, I was done being the trusting mother who ignored the signs. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Patricia Sullivan, and if you're following my story from Colorado, you know I'm fighting a battle sparked by a rigged shower bar in 2024. Thanks for being here, because this is where it all comes crashing down. And you won't want to miss this showdown. I spent days after uncovering the insurance policy in a storm of determination. The evidence was overwhelming: the sabotaged bar, the bar photo, the text screenshots, the bank transfers, the insurance policy. But I refused to let Sarah and Robert destroy James or our family's legacy. Alice kept urging me to act, suggesting a private investigator to dig deeper. But I needed to confront James myself. I wanted to see the truth in his eyes, to pull him from Sarah's grip. That's when I devised a plan, one that would either break us or save him. I decided to host a family dinner, inviting James, Sarah, and Robert to lay their lies bare before everyone. I called James first, keeping my voice warm. saying I wanted to mend things after our fight. He was skeptical but agreed, hoping for peace. Next, I contacted Sarah, framing it as a family dinner to celebrate James's recent plumbing contract. A lie to lure her in. Getting Robert there was trickier. I posed as a colleague, inviting him as a surprise guest to toast Sarah's real estate success. He accepted, oblivious to the trap. My heart pounded as I planned, knowing this dinner would redefine our family. Alice insisted on being there, staying in the kitchen as backup. "You're not facing them alone," she said, and her loyalty fueled my courage. To prepare, I met Alice at her bakery, spreading my evidence across her counter like a librarian organizing a rare collection. The bar photo from the snowy owl, the text screenshots, the bank statements, the insurance policy, the contractor's report, and footage from my garage camera, which had caught James handling the tool used to sabotage the bar a week earlier. I organized it with precision, each piece a weapon. I also hired a private investigator through Alice's contacts, who confirmed Sarah and Robert's affair with motel receipts, bar tabs, photos of their secret meetings, and a recorded conversation about the insurance payout. The investigator's report was another layer of proof. This wasn't just about betrayal. It was about stopping a deadly scheme before it claimed my life. The night of the dinner, my house became a stage, every detail orchestrated. I set the table with my best linens, lit candles, and prepared a feast of pot roast, mashed potatoes, and apple pie, creating an illusion of warmth. James arrived first, his smile cautious but hopeful. Sarah came next, her real estate polish gleaming, followed by Robert, his contractor's confidence clashing with my cozy dining room. We sat, chatting about James's plumbing jobs and the Colorado snow, but the air was thick with tension. I watched Sarah's practiced smile, Robert's nervous glances, and James's uneasy fidgeting, my pulse racing as I waited. Halfway through, I raised my glass. "To family and truth," I said, locking eyes with James. "Because lies always come to light." The room fell silent, forks pausing. I pulled out the bar photo, sliding it across the table. "Explain this," I said, my voice steady. James gasped, his hand trembling. Sarah's face paled, and Robert shifted. Eyes darting to the door, I pressed on, laying out the bank statements, the insurance policy, and the contractor's report confirming the bar's sabotage. I played the garage footage, James's figure clear as he handled the tool. James's eyes filled with tears, and he turned to Sarah. "Is this true?" he demanded, his voice breaking. Robert stood, face flushed. "I'm out," he muttered, bolting for the door, his chair scraping the floor. I looked at Sarah, my voice cold. "You used my son to rig a shower bar to break, stole my savings, and planned to profit from my death." James sobbed, covering his face, and Sarah lunged, shouting that I'd fabricated everything, but the evidence was undeniable. And James's silence spoke volumes. "I'm done with you," I said. "I'm reporting this to the police, and you'll answer for everything." The room crackled with tension, Sarah's panic stark against my calm. Alice stepped out from the kitchen, her presence a silent warning. I'd turned their plot against them, and they knew it. James looked at me, his eyes shattered but awakening, and I knew I'd reached him, even if he was still grappling with Sarah's betrayal. "Thank you for being here for this showdown. What would you have done at that dinner? Drop a comment and let me know. If you're new, please like and subscribe to join our community. The final part is coming, and it's going to be a wild ride." The dining room was a battlefield, the silence heavy as Robert's footsteps faded and James's sobs filled the air. My evidence, the bar photo, the bank statements, the garage footage, lay exposed on the table, stripping away Sarah's affair and James's role in rigging the shower bar to break. I'd turned their lies against them, and they were cornered. Welcome back. Everyone, I'm Patricia Sullivan. And if you followed my story from Colorado, you've seen me confront a betrayal that tore my family apart in 2024. Thanks for being here for the final chapter, because this is where I reclaim my life and protect my son. And it's a triumph worth sharing. Sarah's panic surged as James's tears flowed. She stood, her face red, pleading with him. "It's all lies," she shouted, but his anguish silenced her. She turned to me, her voice desperate. "Patricia, you've got it wrong," she said. But I cut her off. "No more lies," I said, my voice steady as steel. Alice stood in the kitchen doorway, her presence a quiet anchor. I told Sarah to leave, and she grabbed her purse, hurling empty threats. But James's broken stare pushed her out. She fled, her heels clicking, her defeat clear. That night, my house felt lighter, like a dark cloud had lifted, and I knew I'd taken a crucial step. The next morning, I sat with James in my dining room, the same place where I'd exposed his betrayal. His eyes were red, but he listened as I explained everything: the rigged shower bar, the contractor's report, the stolen savings, the insurance policy. "I'm so sorry. Mom," he whispered, hugging me tightly. We cried, rebuilding our bond, and he vowed to make amends. He admitted Sarah had manipulated him, convincing him the bar would only scare me, not kill me, to force me out of the house. I connected him with a lawyer named Karen, a fierce advocate who reviewed my evidence: the bar photo, the texts, the bank statements, the insurance policy, the contractor's report, the garage footage, the investigator's motel receipts. "This is a strong case," Karen said. "Fraud, attempted harm, conspiracy. They'll face consequences." I took the evidence to the police, my hands steady as I presented the contractor's report, garage footage, and investigators' findings. They opened an investigation, and Sarah cracked under questioning, admitting she'd orchestrated the plan with Robert to secure the insurance payout, exploiting James's trust. The police charged them with attempted aggravated assault and fraud, serious crimes, and both were arrested. Their reputations shattered in our small town. Robert, seeing Sarah's downfall, fled Colorado, leaving her alone in her ruin. The stolen savings were recovered, and the insurance policy was voided, dismantling their schemes. Their betrayal had cost them everything, from James's love to their freedom. James's pain was my deepest concern. We spent days talking, healing the wounds Sarah left. He apologized for his role, explaining Sarah had preyed on his devotion, promising a secure future. "I was weak," he said, his voice steady. "We rebuilt our trust, and he became my rock." I decided to sell the house, too haunted by Sarah's actions, and move to a smaller home nearby, closer to James. Standing on the deck as the for sale sign went up, I felt liberated, ready to leave the past behind. The recovered funds and my savings gave me a fresh start, a chance to redefine my life on my terms. In my new home, I found purpose. James introduced me to a community center, and I started a support group for women betrayed by those they loved. Sharing my story, I connected with others who'd faced their own Sarahs and Roberts, their resilience mirroring mine. I became a mentor, helping them find their strength, just as Alice had helped me. The group flourished, and I felt alive, turning my pain into a beacon of hope. My dining room, once a battlefield, was again a place of connection, filled with laughter and shared stories, a testament to what we could overcome. Sarah's betrayal was the storm that could have consumed us, but it forged us stronger. I'm Patricia, a mother who faced lies and danger to protect her son. If you're watching and feel trapped by deceit, hear this: you have the power to rise. Trust your instincts, fight for your worth, and never let anyone dim your light. James and I did, and we're free. Betrayal cuts deep, but it can also be the spark that rebuilds you. tougher than before. This journey was grueling, but it taught me that family, even when tested, can be mended with truth and love. My new life, filled with James's support and the warmth of my support group, is proof that we can rise from the ashes. I hope my story inspires you to face your own battles, to find your own strength, and to never surrender what matters most. You're more resilient than you know, and you're never alone. The road may be tough, but it leads to a place of peace and power, where you can stand tall and reclaim your life. Thank you for walking this path with me. Share your thoughts in the comments. What did this story stir in you? If you're new, please like and subscribe to join our community. Next week, we're diving into another tale of courage and secrets, so stay tuned. Your support means everything, and I can't wait to share more.